you like my thong? Did you know there are like 40 different kinds of whites?
40? There's like 100.
We went to the hardware store and picked up pretty much every single swatch of a white color, and we're gonna pick a white color for our walls and ceiling. We want it all to be white. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna lay down some of our vinyl planks for our flooring down to kind of take a look at what white will go best with our flooring. I really feel like these are our contenders right here. It's hard when there's so many. This one's too blue. This one also looks kind of dark.
Made it down to the final 4.
We're trying to pick a white that has some warmth to it because our floors have quite a mix. There's some warm colors, and we chose our floors for that reason, is that there's warm colors, there's cool colors. There's kind of a mix of feelings in the floor. So if we choose a white that's got more of a blue-gray color in it, it's going to pick up all that dark grayness in the floors. And we actually want to go with more warmth feeling. Yeah, it's in the way. We want to go for a more warm feeling with our white rather than a cool sea breeze color. But you don't want to go like beige is the tricky thing. Like you want some warmth to it, but not like beige.
Yeah, it's still gonna be perceived as white. So here's the final 4, and they look very different depending on where they're at. Right now they're on a grayish brown flooring mat right in the sun. And then if we move them over here to a little more of a warm mat with the shade, you can see how they've changed a little bit. Maybe if Canon Color Science can keep up with us. What will it be? Stone washed? Rich almond?
White linen. Winter Harbor.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
I have a problem making decisions, and you just made me like make so many decisions.
Pick one, but don't tell me what it is, and then on the count of 3, we're gonna say it together.
You're gonna say which one?
Yep. See if we pick the same one.
Oh, this is so hard.
All right, I know which one I pick.
You do? Mm-hmm. Just confused me.
Got one picked?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3.
Rich almond. That's the other one. That's the one I'm choosing between. Okay. Rich almond and stonewashed.
Well, we got it now down to 2.
This one. That's good. We're picking the same one each time at least.
Okay.
Is that 4 times?
All right, what's your final pick?
This one.
That's mine too. How many do we get?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a tiebreaker. How did we do that? Well, that didn't solve anything.
With only 2 chips left, we're gonna make it the tiebreaker.
So they're set up. We're gonna say at the same time. Wait, I haven't made a decision. All right, I made
Ready?
a decision. So at the same
Top or
time.
bottom?
Top or bottom?
1, 2, 3.
Top. Yes!
Let's see who the lucky winner is.
Stonewashed won.
It was a pretty close match.
7.
Stonewash got 7 votes, and Rich Almond got 5. So we're going with Stonewashed. Now we're packing all the floorboards up, and with any luck, we'll get to them someday.
We had just made progress on the ceiling, adding our first layer of insulation and putting our furring strips into position.
And now, having picked out a paint color for our walls and ceiling, we have to create sidewalls for our bus.
We started by measuring the windows and quickly decided to make a template out of cardboard to act as our guide for the wall shape around the windows. We use the template to mark out our cut lines on 1/4-inch birch plywood.
Think it's gonna work?
I don't know, I hope so, but generally the first time you don't get it perfect. We don't get it perfect.
And it worked. It's a little hard to get this angle exact, this curve exact through here. There always seems to be a little bit of space, or it's a little too snug. That could just be our inexperience with the jig, or we might just be asking too much for what we want to do to get it to fit in the walls this way. We thought about just cutting one piece that just goes straight down the side, and that would leave these weird triangle shapes here.
I think it's going to work. I think maybe there's another trim that we can put over to hide these seams. This area gets covered by the emergency escape. So once it's covered by the emergency exit, you won't see any seams. And in the corners, I don't know, I mean, I don't think it's going to matter. Maybe there's some way to fill that in.
We made a little progress with our walls. We had to figure out exactly what the standardized measurements would be.
So the first piece of wall that we cut, we found that the blade was splintering the birch wood, which didn't look so great.
We ended up switching blades a couple times just to see if we could get a cleaner cut, and even with the finest blade we have, it's still splintering in the front.
Yeah. But the backside had a nice smooth cut. So we decided we need to flip our plans so that when we put the piece of wood up against the wall, we have the clean side on the outside. It's not terrible, but it's, you know, it's not clean and perfect, but the backside looks great. How many times can I say backside?
Making our walls this way meant each piece would need a custom cut.
But it also meant that we weren't wasting any wood. we got the first half of the wall done and feeling pretty good, like we were gonna make some progress. And then we went over to the other side and there's a hole that goes into the fuse box area. And I smelled something nasty.
So we went to open things up and we found some dead mice.
We've had a battle with mice throughout the winter. And we honestly hadn't checked for probably 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But
we put some traps because we knew mice were getting in, so we put out some traps and we caught some mice, and then we kept checking and there were no mice. So we were like, all right, they don't need this home anymore. The memo got out. This is not a safe place to live. So we kind of slacked on checking for a little while. And every single trap had a mouse in it.
we were hoping that we could just find a way to just scare them out.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they were starting to eat through the insulation and maybe some wiring, which we're going to have to look into, open up the front of the driver's area. So we just had to discourage them from living there at all. And the only way we could find to do that is to put some serious rat jaw traps.
Yeah. What's in there?
Gonna put peanut butter in it. Just make sure not to get my thumb.
Yeah, don't catch your thumb. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep the traps there because we cannot have mice living in the bus. But we were also told to try black pepper because they don't like the smell, so they might not want to be around it, and peppermint oil. So we're also going to try putting those down to deter them from coming in, but we have to keep putting in the traps because we can't have them eating wires and whatnot. It's also impossible to block it off for them to not get into the underneath part of the bus. Like there's no ways you can block that off. Like these spaces need to be open.
Yeah, they're mice, and they find ways to get into the craziest spots to get through the smallest cracks. And there's huge, giant holes all throughout the bottom of the bus anyway.
Yeah. So they're getting into like the bumper and the fuse box area and the first luggage bay. And once we're living in here with 3 cats, I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. That first luggage bay is going to be the cat's litter box room too. So I'm pretty sure as soon as we're living in, it's not going to be an issue. Those, mice will not be around when they smell those 3 cats, and the cats will chase them. But right now, while we're working on it, we're in the country and there's a lot of mice. This is the real bus life, right? This is not the glamour of the gorgeous Instagram perfect bus, but this is just kind of stuff you have to deal with.
It's a mess. I was trying to build it.
Yeah.
Did you notice how when we had to pull the bumper down to pull the tire out to clean out where the mice were? Did you notice how it looks like our bus is smiling now?
Yeah, it does.
With the bottom sidewalls cut, we needed a plan for the top. So we settled on insulating the top area with Ceratex, then made a plan for the wall wood and how we might finish it.
So we cut out a little template that is going to fit on the top of our window curves. To make a little piece of wall, we're going to try cutting out some of the birch plywood into this template and make sure it fits. Above here on the wall is going to be a nice trim piece that's going to stick out further. So we only need a tiny little bit of wall above the windows. Almost. How do you like my thong? Back in my dancer days when we performed shows in fishnets and G-strings, and little secret, underneath your fishnets and your thong that is the costume, dancers wear this teeny little pair of underwear that just barely covers the basics, which you call a gaff. And this is pretty much the size of a gaff, maybe a little bit bigger, in case you wanted to know. Nothing in the bus is even and the same. So on the other side, the first window that we were working on to create a template, the one side fit really snug and the other one had a gap. But look at this one. Huge gaps on either side. So basically, we're never going to get them all perfect because otherwise we'd have to make individual ones for each one and spend hours on it. So it's gonna have to be okay. We gotta just go get that paint now that we chose, so we can start painting our walls and painting our. So we gotta get our and paint our ceiling.
Well, we
gotta buy our ceiling.
build
first,
the
too.
ceiling.
I know, but we gotta paint.
Yeah.
We're gonna paint everything. Have a painting party. We decided to put up a vapor barrier between the insulation and our new walls, but we'll share that with you next time.